Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel Retire Coins. Today we're diving into a story that's blowing the minds of collectors everywhere, the 1964 Abraham Lincoln penny with a D mint mark. Could it really be worth millions of dollars? Spoiler alert, yes it could. So, let's break down why this seemingly ordinary penny is capturing the attention of coin collectors around the world. At first glance, the 1964 penny looks just like any other Lincoln cent, small, copper-colored, and with the face of the 16th president, Abraham Lincoln, on the obverse or front side. It's the reverse, where we find the Lincoln Memorial, that also looks quite standard. But the key to its rarity lies in its minting process. This coin was minted at the Denver Mint, indicated by the small D mark below the date. The Denver Mint produced millions of these pennies. So how did some of them become so incredibly valuable? Let's take a closer look. In 1964, over 3 billion pennies were minted across the country. So how does one penny from this batch stand out? Well, it all comes down to errors and misprints. In coin collecting, a tiny mistake during minting can turn a coin from ordinary to extraordinary. And in the case of the 1964 D Lincoln penny, some were accidentally struck using dies intended for other coins, creating incredibly rare variations. Some of the most valuable 1964 pennies feature minting errors, including doubling of the design, overstrikes, or even planchet errors, where the metal wasn't prepared correctly. These flaws are what make these coins so sought after. Now, let's get to the exciting part. Why can these pennies fetch millions? In some cases, a 1964 penny with significant errors or an extremely rare variety can be worth upwards of $1 million at auction. These kinds of prices are driven by collectors who are willing to pay a premium for an incredibly rare piece of history. One of the most famous cases was a 1964 penny with a double die error, which caused certain parts of the coin's design, like Lincoln's face or the date, to be struck twice. This creates a shadow effect and, when in good condition, makes the coin highly desirable. So, how can you tell if the penny in your pocket is worth a fortune? First, check the date. You're looking for 1964. Next, look for the D mint mark below the date, which stands for Denver. Then, inspect the coin closely under a magnifying glass for any signs of errors, like doubled letters or numbers, off-center designs, or odd marks. If you find something unusual, it might just be worth getting the coin professionally appraised. If you think you have a rare penny, take it to a reputable coin dealer or a numismatic expert. They'll help verify its authenticity and determine if it's one of those rare, million-dollar finds. We're talking about a specific penny that's making headlines, the 1965 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, and why some of these coins could potentially be worth up to $1 million. Let's dig in. First, let's go back in time. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. Fast forward to 1965, when something very interesting happened. In 1965, the U.S. Mint temporarily stopped putting mint marks on coins to discourage hoarding during a coin shortage. So, if you have a 1965 penny with no mint mark, that's actually pretty normal. So, why could some of these 1965 pennies be worth a fortune? It all comes down to a few factors. Let's break them down. First, rarity. Although millions of pennies were minted in 1965, there are always exceptions, like error coins. These are coins that were misprinted or made with the wrong material, and they can be incredibly valuable. One of the most famous errors is the double die obverse, where the image on the front is stamped twice, creating a doubled appearance. While a 1965 double die penny hasn't surfaced yet, if one ever did, it could easily sell for 6 or 7 figures. So, how do you know if your 1965 penny is worth more than just face value? Here are a few key things to look for. Look for any doubling, misshapes, or misprints. Some pennies may have been mistakenly made from silver or other metals. The better the condition, the higher the value. So check for scratches, wear, and tarnish. Consider getting your coin graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC to get an accurate idea of its value. If you spot any of these signs, you could be holding on to a small fortune. Now, let's talk money. Recently, Certain Lincoln pennies from other years with rare errors have sold for over $1 million at auction. While the 1965 penny hasn't quite hit that mark, rare variations could command a similar price in the future. So, if you find a rare 1965 penny in your collection, don't rush to spend it just yet. Get it appraised. Okay, let's say you've found a rare 1965 Lincoln penny. What's next? Here's how you can sell it for top dollar. A professional grading service will authenticate and value your coin. Choose an auction house or online platform with a good reputation for selling rare coins. Sometimes private collectors will pay more for rare finds. Remember, patience is key. Don't settle for less than what your rare coin is worth. So, could that old penny in your change jar actually make you a millionaire? While it's rare, it's not impossible. Keep an eye out for error coins, and who knows, you might just hit the jackpot. We're talking about a penny that could make you rich, the 1967 Abraham Lincoln penny with no mint mark. Could one of these coins be hiding in your change and worth $1 million? Let's find out. First, let's talk a little bit about the history of the 1967 penny. This is a part of the Lincoln Cent series, which has been in circulation since 1909. Abraham Lincoln's profile has been on the penny for over 100 years, and collectors love this coin. But why is the 1967 penny so special? Well, in 1965, 1966, and 1967, the U.S. Mint did not place mint marks on any of the coins produced. This was due to the Coinage Act of 1965, which aimed to reduce coin collecting so more coins could stay in circulation. So, if your 1967 penny doesn't have a mint mark, don't panic. That was intentional. But here's the kicker. Despite the lack of mint marks, some 1967 pennies are worth way more than face value. The value of these coins depends on a few key factors, like the coin's condition, any unique errors, or even the metal composition. Coins in pristine, uncirculated condition, known as mint state, can fetch a pretty penny at auctions. Collectors are always looking for those flawless, shiny Lincoln pennies. And then we have the holy grail of coin collecting, error coins. Some 1967 pennies were struck with doubling effects or other misprints, and these are the coins that can skyrocket in value. One such coin could even be worth thousands or more. So, how do you know if your 1967 penny is the million-dollar coin? Here's a quick step-by-step guide on how to check. Look for any scratches, wear, or tarnishing. The closer it is to mint state, the better. Use a magnifying glass to carefully inspect the lettering, Lincoln's face, and the date. If you spot any doubling, misalignment, or anything out of the ordinary, your penny could be valuable. Most pennies were made of copper in 1967, but if you think your coin feels heavier or lighter than usual, it's worth having it appraised to see if it contains a rare metal mix. There have been some incredible stories of rare pennies selling for thousands of dollars. In some cases, even more. A perfect condition 1967 penny, especially one with an error, can fetch anywhere from hundreds to thousands at auction. Imagine finding a penny in your drawer that sells for $20,000. That's life-changing money for something we often overlook in our spare change. So, there you have it. The 1967 Abraham Lincoln penny might not have a mint mark, but it could still be worth a fortune if you're lucky enough to have a rare one. Make sure to check your pockets, wallets, and old piggy banks. Who knows, you might be holding onto a small fortune. Have you ever found a valuable coin in your collection? Drop a comment below and let me know your coin treasure story. And if you haven't already, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel for more awesome coin content, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Could a simple penny sitting in your pocket right now be worth a small fortune? You heard that right. We're talking about the rare 1970 Abraham Lincoln penny with the D mint mark, which could be worth up to $1 million. If you're curious, stick around as we uncover the mystery behind this unique coin. Now, you may be asking yourself, how can a penny, something many people don't even pick up when they drop, be worth so much? Well, not all pennies are created equal. Let's dive into the fascinating world of rare coin collecting and why this 1970 Lincoln penny stands out. First, let's look at some history. The 1970 Lincoln penny was minted in the Denver Mint, hence the small D mark you see under the year. Millions of these pennies were produced that year, but there's something very special about a small handful of them. Something that makes them worth not 1 cent, but potentially millions. What makes this coin so valuable is a rare minting error known as a double die. In simple terms, some pennies were struck twice, creating a noticeable doubling of certain features on the coin. Most commonly on the date, the lettering Liberty, and even Lincoln's portrait. This doubling is hard to spot unless you know what to look for, but collectors and numismatists are always on the hunt for these errors because they drive up the value of the coin by astronomical amounts. So, how do you know if your penny is one of these rare errors? Get out your magnifying glass, folks. Look carefully at the 1970 date and check if the numbers look like they've been doubled. The same goes for the word Liberty and other inscriptions on the coin. If you spot these features, you might just be sitting on a gold mine. Rare coins like these have sold for eye-popping amounts in auctions. In fact, one particular 1970 penny with a double die error sold for nearly $50,000. But why do some people claim these coins could be worth millions? Well, certain rare mint errors combined with the right market conditions can drive up a coin's value. If your penny is in near-perfect condition, what collectors call mint state, its value can skyrocket. Here's another important tip. If you think you have a valuable coin, you'll want to get it professionally graded. Experts at certified grading services will assess your coin's condition and authenticity, which is crucial for determining its market value. A professionally graded penny in mint condition could sell for significantly more than an ungraded one. So, the next time you come across a 1970 Lincoln penny, take a closer look. You might just have a rare piece of history in your hands that's worth a fortune. Who knew that something so small could hold such big potential? We've got an absolutely jaw-dropping story about one of the most unexpected finds in American coin history, the 1972 Abraham Lincoln penny without a mint mark. And guess what? Some versions of this coin are worth up to millions of dollars. You heard that right, millions. So, what's the big deal about this little penny? And how can you tell if you've got a fortune sitting in your pocket? Let's dive into the fascinating details. The 1972 Lincoln penny is a coin that most people wouldn't think twice about. It's small, brown, and seems like just another penny in circulation. But for coin collectors, a few of these pennies are incredibly valuable because of a rare error that makes them worth way more than a cent. Alright, so here's what you need to know. Most pennies from the 1972 series were minted in Philadelphia, which is why they don't have a mint mark. But what makes a few of these pennies so special is the double die error. See how the details, especially the date and the word Liberty, appear to be doubled? That's called a double die error, and this mistake happens when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned. This little mistake can turn your ordinary penny into a collector's dream. The US Mint in 1972 didn't have the same quality control systems we have today, and this allowed some error coins to slip through the cracks. The double die error isn't new to collectors. It's shown up on other coins like the famous 1955 penny, but the 1972 penny is especially sought after because of how pronounced the doubling is. Now, let's talk about the most important question. How much can these pennies be worth? Well, it all depends on the condition. A regular 1972 penny is only worth its face value, but if you've got one with a strong double die error and it's in great condition, you're looking at prices anywhere from $100 to over $50,000 for a high-grade coin. And yes, there have even been cases of rare variations of this coin selling for over $1 million at auction. It's mind-blowing how a simple mistake can turn into such a huge payday. So, how can you tell if your 1972 penny is worth millions? You'll need a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. Carefully check the "In God We Trust," the word Liberty, and the date. If you see clear signs of doubling, you might be holding something special. Asterisk also, make sure to check the coin's condition. The fewer scratches and marks, the higher the grade and the more valuable it becomes. If you think you've found one of these double-die 1972 pennies, don't just sell it right away. Get it professionally graded by a company like PCGS or NGC. A certified grade can drastically increase its value. You could sell it at a coin auction, online marketplaces, or through private dealers. So there you have it. That little 1972 Lincoln penny in your pocket could be worth a life-changing amount of money. Go check your coins and see if you've got one of these rare double die errors. If you do, you might just be the next coin collector to cash in on $1 million penny. 1976 Abraham Lincoln penny with the D mint mark. Could it really be worth $1 million? Let's find out. Lincoln pennies have been around since 1909, but most of them are only worth face value, just 1 cent. So what's so special about a 1976 penny with the D mint mark that has collectors buzzing? Could it really fetch you $1 million? Spoiler alert, it's not as simple as you might think. First, let's get some basics down. The 1976 penny was minted in large quantities, so the majority of these pennies are very common. They feature Abraham Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. The D mint mark means it was minted in Denver. Denver produced over 4 billion of these pennies in 1976. So, why are people talking about them being worth $1 million? Let's dig deeper. To understand what makes a coin valuable, we need to look at 3 key factors: rarity, condition, and errors. And while the 1976 Lincoln penny might not be rare in general, some specific factors can make a single coin extremely valuable. Let's break it down. If only a few of a certain coin were produced, collectors will pay top dollar to get their hands on one. Unfortunately, most 1976 pennies aren't rare. Unless we're talking about some rare errors. Coins are graded on a scale, and a perfect coin in mint state, or MS 70, can be worth exponentially more. Most pennies you find in your pocket won't be in perfect condition, but there are always exceptions. Errors are where things get interesting. Pennies with minting mistakes, like double strikes, off-centers, or a missing mint mark, can be incredibly valuable. And it's these error coins that can sometimes be worth, well, a lot more than a penny. So, is there really a 1976 D Lincoln penny out there worth $1 million? Here's the deal. No regular 1976 D penny has sold for anywhere near that amount. However, rare error coins or pennies in nearly flawless condition can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. In 2019, a 1974 aluminum penny sold for over $2 million. But that was a prototype coin, not a regular circulation penny. Similarly, high-quality or error Lincoln pennies can go for big bucks at auctions, but the $1 million range is rare. If you think you've got a special penny, here's how to check its value. Check for any obvious errors like double strikes, off-center designs, or unusual markings. If your penny looks nearly flawless, it might be worth getting it professionally graded. Send your penny to a trusted coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll tell you exactly what condition it's in and how much it might be worth. Remember, most 1976 pennies aren't going to be worth a fortune, but if you find a rare error or have one in pristine condition, it could be worth much more than face value. So, can a 1976 D mint mark Lincoln penny be worth $1 million? It's unlikely, but don't let that discourage you from checking your change. Rare coins are discovered every day, and you might just stumble across a valuable piece of history. If you're into rare coins and curious about hidden treasures you might have in your change jar, you're in the right place. Today, we're talking about the 1978 Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that's been making waves in the numismatic world and could potentially be worth a fortune. So, what's the deal with this penny? Why would something as ordinary as a Lincoln penny be worth up to $1 million? Well, it's all about the no mint mark and rarity. Typically, coins minted in Philadelphia have no mint mark, while Denver coins have a small D and San Francisco coins a small S. But the story goes beyond that. In 1978, most Lincoln pennies were minted in Philadelphia, but there were a few mysterious errors or rare varieties. Some pennies were struck on the wrong planchets, the blanks used to create coins, or there were issues with their design or finish. These small errors can make a coin incredibly valuable to collectors. The 1978 penny with no mint mark could also be a rare error coin that accidentally made it out of the mint. The scarcity and high demand for these mistake coins drive their prices sky high in auctions, sometimes reaching hundreds of thousands, and in some cases, even $1 million. So, how do you know if you have one of these rare coins? Here are a few things to keep in mind. If there's no mint mark under the date, it was struck in Philadelphia. but you want to look for specific errors or variations in the coin's finish or design. Some rare pennies are struck on the wrong metal. Use a scale to weigh your penny. If it's significantly different from the standard 3.11 grams, you might have something special. The condition of the coin, or its grade, is critical. Coins in pristine condition are worth far more than those with wear and tear. Getting your coin professionally graded can make a huge difference in its value. Let's talk about some famous auction cases. In recent years, some 1978 pennies have sold for astounding prices due to rare errors. One of these pennies, found in a collection, fetched over $10,000 at auction because it was an error coin in nearly mint condition. And in 2021, a rare no-mint mark penny from 1978 was projected to reach a value of $1 million due to its unique features and pristine grade. Even a penny in average condition could be worth hundreds, if not thousands. So, what should you do if you think you've got a rare penny? First, don't rush to sell it right away. You'll want to get your coin authenticated and graded by a professional. Then, you can either auction it through major numismatic auction houses or sell it to serious collectors. There are also online platforms where you can list rare coins, but I recommend doing your research and going through trusted sources. So, could your 1978 Lincoln penny be worth a fortune? The answer is maybe. It all depends on its condition and rarity. But with a little luck, you might just strike it rich. Don't forget to check your change jars, and if you find something exciting, let me know in the comments below. The 1986 Lincoln penny with no mint mark and why it's creating buzz in the numismatic world. Let's start with some basics. The Abraham Lincoln penny has been a staple of U.S. currency since 1909. But today, we're zooming in on the 1986 penny. Specifically, the ones that don't have a mint mark. Usually, pennies minted in Philadelphia have no mint mark, while coins from Denver and San Francisco carry a D or S, respectively. But in 1986, something strange happened. Certain Philadelphia pennies without the mint mark started gaining attention in the coin collecting community. But why is this such a big deal? Let's break it down. Mint marks help identify where a coin was made, and coins with unusual or missing mint marks are a collector's dream. Even minor variations can make a massive difference in a coin's value. The thing is, the 1986 penny doesn't have any major design errors or rare metal composition. So, what makes it so special? It's the rarity of this particular version. Collectors believe that a certain batch of these no-mint mark coins were struck under unusual conditions, making them rare and valuable. Some of these pennies have even been rumored to be worth up to $1 million. Yes, you heard that right. A coin that most of us would overlook or toss into a jar could actually be a gold mine in the right circumstances. But before you get too excited and start digging through your loose change, there's something critical you need to know. The value of these coins largely depends on their condition, or what's known as grading in the coin world. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being absolutely perfect. If your 1986 penny without a mint mark is in uncirculated or mint condition, that's where the real value lies. Coins that have been in circulation, showing scratches, dents, or wear, will be worth significantly less, but still potentially more than face value. So what should you look for? First, check the date. Does it say 1986? Then, look just below the date. If there's no mint mark at all, you could be holding something special. However, if your coin has noticeable wear, its value could range from a few cents to a few dollars unless it's graded highly by professional services like PCGS or NGC. So, is this penny really worth $1 million? Well, like any collectible, it's a mix of hype, rarity, and demand. While some coins have fetched astronomical prices at auctions, it's important to separate fact from myth. It's unlikely, but not impossible. Stories of million-dollar sales often come from coins with a perfect grade, extraordinary provenance, or significant historical interest. So, while a 1986 penny without a mint mark could be incredibly valuable, the chances of it hitting the million-dollar mark are rare. But even if you don't get $1 million, these coins could still bring you a healthy profit. Okay, so you've checked your pennies and think you've found one without a mint mark. What's next? Well, don't rush to sell it just yet. Your first step should be to have it professionally graded. Submit your coin to reputable grading services like PCGS or NGC, where professionals will assess its condition and authenticity. This grading process will ultimately determine its value in the collector's market. Grading can also help you avoid scams. There are lots of counterfeit coins out there, so having a certified grading will protect your investment if you ever decide to sell. So, could you really be sitting on $1 million treasure? The odds are slim, but it's always fun to dream, right? Even if your 1986 penny without a mint mark isn't worth $1 million, it could still hold value far beyond 1 cent. Have you checked your pennies lately? You never know. Your spare change could be hiding a small fortune. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more content on rare coins and collectibles. 1989 Abraham Lincoln penny with no mint mark. You might be surprised to learn that this little coin could be worth a staggering $1 million. How is that possible? Let's find out. First, let's talk about the coin itself. The 1989 Lincoln penny features a familiar design. On the obverse, we see the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, and on the reverse, the classic 1 cent inscription surrounded by a laurel wreath. But here's where things get interesting. Most coins from this year were produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which means they typically carry a P mint mark. However, in 1989, a few pennies were minted without any mint mark at all, and that's where the rarity comes in. Now, you might be wondering, why is a penny, yes, just a penny, worth so much? The key here is rarity. While millions of 1989 pennies were minted, the no-mint mark version is incredibly scarce. It's estimated that only a handful of these coins exist today, making them highly sought after by collectors. To put things into perspective, while typical 1989 pennies might be worth just a few cents, a no-mint mark penny could fetch anywhere from hundreds to even millions of dollars at auction, depending on its condition and collector interest. So how can you tell if you've got one of these rare coins? Look for the following characteristics. Check the reverse side for a mint mark. If it's blank, you might have a winner. Coins in mint condition or uncirculated grades will be worth significantly more. Ensure it matches the standard specifications for a penny. Any discrepancies could indicate a different error coin. If you think you found a 1989 no-mint mark penny, congratulations. The next step is knowing how to sell it. Here are some tips. Consult with a professional coin dealer or appraiser to determine its value. Consider selling through a reputable auction house, especially for high-value coins. Platforms like eBay can be a good option, but ensure you set a fair starting price. We're diving into the fascinating world of coin collecting, specifically the legendary 1991 Abraham Lincoln penny. What makes this penny so special? Stick around, because you won't believe it could be worth $1 million. First, let's talk about what a penny is. The penny, or 1 cent coin, has been a staple of American currency since 1793. The 1991 penny features the iconic image of President Abraham Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But here's the catch. Most 1991 pennies were minted in Philadelphia, and they all have a mint mark. However, there are a few rare specimens without a mint mark, and that's where the magic happens. In 1991, the Philadelphia Mint produced billions of pennies, but a small number of these coins were struck without a mint mark. Collectors refer to these as error coins. The rarity of these no-mint mark pennies has skyrocketed their value over the years, with some coins fetching up to a staggering $1 million at auction. But why? Let's find out. The value of coins often hinges on their rarity, condition, and demand in the collector market. The 1991 no-mint mark penny is particularly sought after because it's estimated that only a few exist, making them incredibly rare. Abraham Lincoln is a beloved figure in American history, which adds to the coin's allure. Coin collectors are always on the hunt for unique pieces, and the no-mint mark penny is a holy grail for many. So, how can you tell if you have one of these rare gems? Here's a quick guide. Look for the mint mark on the reverse side. If you see no P or D, you may have a winner. Coins in mint condition or uncirculated are worth the most, so keep an eye out for any scratches or wear. If you think you've found one, get it appraised by a professional coin dealer to confirm its authenticity and value. We're diving into the fascinating world of coin collecting and uncovering the mystery behind a coin that could be worth a fortune. The 2008 Abraham Lincoln penny without a mint mark. That's right, a penny that could be worth $1 million. So, stick around as we explore the history, value, and what makes this coin so special. First, let's get some basics out of the way. The 2008 Lincoln penny is part of a series that commemorates the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The U.S. Mint released 4 different designs that year, each representing a different stage of Lincoln's life. But here's where it gets interesting. Most of these coins were produced with a mint mark, either the P for Philadelphia or the D for Denver. However, there's a rare version that lacks any mint mark, which means it was produced in the Philadelphia Mint. This is where collectors start to get excited. So, why is the 2008 Lincoln penny without a mint mark so valuable? Well, the answer lies in its rarity and demand. While millions of pennies were minted that year, only a handful of these no-mint mark coins are known to exist. In fact, some estimates suggest that this penny could be worth as much as $1 million, depending on its condition and provenance. That's right, 1 cent potentially turning into $1 million. This phenomenon is due to a combination of collectors' enthusiasm and the coin's historical significance. Now, let's talk about what sets this coin apart. The design features the iconic image of Lincoln on the front and a representation of the Lincoln Memorial on the back. But it's the absence of a mint mark that truly elevates its status among collectors. Collecting coins isn't just about rarity, it's about stories and heritage. Each penny tells a part of history, and this one is no exception. Whether it's the craftsmanship or the tales of those who once held it, the allure of this coin captures the imagination of many. So, how can you identify this rare penny? First, check the front side for the date, 2008. Then, flip it over and look for the mint mark, or lack thereof. If there's no P or D, congratulations. You might be holding a valuable coin. Make sure to inspect your pennies closely, especially if you've got a jar full of them at home. You never know what hidden treasures you might find. If you're interested in starting a coin collection, here are a few tips. Understand the history and value of coins. The condition of a coin greatly affects its value. Join forums or local coin clubs to exchange knowledge. If you think you have a rare coin, get it appraised by a professional. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed learning about the 2008 Abraham Lincoln penny with no mint mark, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more fascinating content about coins and collectibles. And don't forget to check your change. You might just have $1 million penny lying around. See you next time.